fans, well, welcome back. This is continuing the playlist on videos on key stage 3 percentages. We are going to be working out how to find 100% of something when you're given another percentage. The first 3 questions are going to be very straightforward, just finding percentages of amounts, and then we're going to move on to these type of questions that you see in the title. So let's just do a couple of practice questions so we're familiar with the representation. So you should be familiar with the double number line. So to find 70% of 165, well, 100% is going to be 165. We can work out, for example, 10%, which is 16.5. So we do that by dividing by 10, and then we're going to multiply it by 7 to get 70%. So times 7, and we're going to do times 7. 16.5 times 7 is 115.5. Okay, so try the next question to find 20% of 12. The start has been given to you, the diagram. Okay, so hopefully you've done this. We're going to check this out now. This is going to be 10% is 1.2. 20% is going to be double that. So double 1.2 is 2.4. So 2.4 is your answer. Hopefully you got that. And the final warm-up question is to find 17% of 300. Now let's think about how we're going to work out 17%. I think it would be sensible to do 10%, 5%, 1%, and 2%. Because we can make 17 by doing 10 plus 5 plus 2. So let's work this all out. Pause the video and have a go if you haven't done this already, and then I'm going to show you how to do it and whether you've done it right. So first of all, 100% is going to be 300, and we can actually label our percentages that we're going to work out. So we know we're going to need 1%, we're going to need 2%, we're going to need 5%, and 10%. The scale doesn't have to be accurate. This is just a rough sketch of this, just to help us organize our calculations. So firstly, let's work out 1%. 1% of 300 is dividing by 100, so that's going to be 3. 2% is going to be double that, which is 6. 10% of 300 is 30, and 5% is going to be half of that, which is 15. So now we're just going to add the values that we said we were. So 10, 5, and 2. So 10, 5, 2, which is 30, 15, and 6. 30 plus 15 plus 6. So 30 plus 15 is 45. 45 plus 6 is going to give you 51. So 51 is our answer. And now we're ready to start the main point of this video. So that is just spotting what these type of questions look like. So let's have a look at what this looks like. What's the same and what's different? Pause the video and think about this. Okay, so let's have a look. 30% of 120. These are the type of questions you're used to. These are the type of questions we did at the beginning. Typical calculation, you've been given 100% in the question. This question is different because we're saying 30% is 120. So if we were doing a diagram for each of these, they would look quite different. So in this case, we could say 100% is 120, and we're finding what 30% is, but we don't know what it is straight away. In this type of question, we're saying 30% of some number, so 100% of, we don't know what the amount is, but we know that 30% of it is equal to 120. So this is the key difference here. In this case, you're given 100% and you're finding 30. In this case, you're given 30% and you're finding 100. So you need to be really careful when you're reading these questions to spot that, because it would be a silly mistake if you misread what the question was asking. So let's have a go at just finishing off this calculation, because you have the skills to do that. So if we know that 30% is 120, we may work out what 10% is. So we're going to divide by 3 to get 10%, and we're going to do the same thing here. 120 divided by 3, which is 40. And then from 10% it's actually quite easy to go up to 100, because we just times it by 10. 40 times 10, this gives us 400. So 30% of a number is 120. What we are saying is 30% of 400 is 120. So that's the number we were looking for. It was the 400. Okay, let's practice this now. Pause the video, have a go with both questions. Okay, so hopefully you've had a go with both questions. Let's do the left-hand side using the table method. So 10% of a number is 40. So we don't know what 100% is, but we do know what 10% is. So 10% is 40. So in order to work out 100%, we're just going to times it by 10. Times it by 10. And we can see we're going to get 400. The question on the right. So Mr. V gets to school by walking and cycling. He walks 20% of the journey, which is 15 minutes. How long is his total journey? So let's use the double number line here. So we know that 20% of the journey is equal to 15. What we want to work out is 100%. To go from 20 to 100, we're going to have to times it by 5. 20 times 5 is 100, and we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to do 15 times 5. So we can do 15 times 5. That's going to be 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 2, 75. So 100% is 75. So the journey, the total journey, is 75 minutes. Okay, let's try another example here. 4% of amount is 36. Now the question is saying write down 5 other percentages of this information using this information. I'm going to go first and then you can do the rest. So what we could say is 8% is going to be twice that. So we're going to do 36 times 2, which is going to give you 72. Can you work out 5 other percentages? Pause the video, have a go. Okay, so here are some examples that you may have done. I'm not going to be able to do all the potential examples here. So you may have, for example, worked out 2% by halving 36, and that's going to give you 18. You may have worked out 1% is 9. You can times that by 100 to work out 100% is 900. From there you can work out 50%, which is half of 900, 450, and so on. So you get the idea. Alright, let's move on to the next question. 30% of a number is 36. What is 70% of the number? Okay, this one's a bit more interesting. We're not trying to find 100%, but it may help us in some cases. So pause the video and have a go. Okay, so I hope you've tried the question. Now let's use this method. Let's use the double number line. And we're going to label what we know. We know that 30% is 36. What we want to work out is 70%. Now 30 doesn't go nicely into 70, so we're going to have to find another shorter way. So I'm going to suggest that we could use 10%. And the way we're going to do that is just dividing by 3. So 36 divided by 3, that's going to give us 12. And from here, can we go up to 70 in one go? I think we can. So 10 times 7, we're going to do 12 times 7. And that's going to give us 84. And that's our answer. So we actually didn't need to work out what 100% was. Although once we had 10%, 100% would have been easy. We know that's going to be 120 because it's 12 times 10. So similarly, can you try this question here? And then we're going to go through it together. Pause the video. Okay, so hopefully you've had time to go through this. Let's see what we can work out here. 80% of something came to £64. What is 15% of that? Right, so let's label what we know. I'm going to have to make this slightly bigger so we can see that we've got 80% is equal to 64. Can we work anything out from that? I think these numbers both fit nicely with 8. So 8 goes into both of them quite nicely. So let's work out 10%. So divide by 8, and we're going to divide this by 8. So 64 divided by 8 is 8. And then we need to work out 15%. So in order to do that, let's work out 5% first. So 5% is 4. And 15% is just going to be a combination of 10% and 5%. So 8 and 4, which is going to give us 12. And that's our answer. So 15% is 12. Okay, pause the video on the next question, which is here, and have a go with all of these. Okay, so hopefully you've had a go with these. Let's work out what we can from here. So it wants 1%. So 1% will be, we're going to divide by 3, 6. 30%, we're going to do times 10. 3 times 10 is 30. 18 times 10 is 180. So we've done that. 27%. Now, let's see what we already have. Well, can we make 27 using what we have? I think we can. We can use 30 and 3. So 30% take away 3%. So that's going to be 27%. So that's 180 take away 18. That's going to give us 162. 60%. Now, can we work out 60% easily? Yeah, using what we have. 30 times 2 is 60. So 60%, we're going to do 180 times 2, which is 360. And finally, 97%. Now, 97% using what we already have. 97% is 100%. Take away 3%. So we're going to do, let's work out 100% first. So if you have 1%, 100% is going to be times 100, so it's 600. So 97% is 600 take away 18. That's going to give us 5, 8, 2. So I hope you got all of these correct. If you didn't, we need to do a bit more practice on that. Now finally, here comes the exercise. This is the exercise that you should be trying, so pause the video here and have a go. I'm going to show you the answers in 5, 4, 3, 2, and here are the answers. Okay, hopefully you found that useful. Make sure to like the video if you did. I'll see you in the next video.